Hey guys, what's up? I am here to give you guys a recap on the new chapter of the Nanatsu no Taizai, or you could call it the 7 Deadly Sins, on chapter 337. Now, this chapter reveals a lot about Merlin, not to mention she was like almost the one behind it all somehow. Like, it's complicated, but it's pretty nasty in a certain way. And I don't really know if people are gonna believe it or even like this chapter at all because of what just happened, So, if anything else, let's just get this recap started. We have to it that the person that's called the Lady of the Lake ends up deciding to tell everyone about what's going on, and she's going to answer in her place, And we see to it that Meliodas asks the person to show itself, but she tells Meliodas, "I'm sorry, but I can't part from this lake. I was wrought from chaos. The ancients call me the Lady of the Lake or the Saint of Chaos." And that's when Arthur says, "Well, yeah, I actually heard that one. You were the one that actually gave the holy sword to the king Carfin the first or something. Whatever, or I." And we see too that Meliodas tells the person, the Lady of the Lake, by saying, "I'm sorry, but I've been around 3,000 years and I've never heard a thing about chaos, let alone from Merlin." And we see to it that she even explains to everyone, well, of course you haven't. It's because the past 3,000 years that you were living, she's hidden it from you and everyone else altogether. And we see to it that Deanne's like, wait a minute, hidden it from us? Like she kept it from us? And Meliodas says, "What the heck are you even talking about, huh?" And we see to it that the Lady of the Lake decides to start the story off by talking about Merlin. She says, long ago in Britannia, there's actually a capital blessed with prosperity that sided neither with the demons nor goddesses. The name of that capital where the superior wise men of humanity lived was Berlinian, or Billion, or however you pronounce it. It was told that they're under the pretext of researching the ultimate magic, but really to serve as weapons against the higher-ranking demons and goddesses. Human children who possessed an aptitude for magic were experimented on as test subjects. And we get to know among them a child was born with the strongest and unique magic, infinity, and that was Merlin. The moment she was born, she was a prodigy with a talent and wit that far surpassed the wise men of the capital. But what she wanted all this time inside her heart was love for her parent. But the sad thing is, the leader of the wise men, which is her father, gave her a mountain of reading material and tests to perform, and that's it. Eventually, she got sick of it and tries to run away, but she gets pursued because she has to return to the capital, All she could do is cry and have her tears dried up and fled without not knowing any destination. What she felt over there was nothing more than the prison cell and that she couldn't get out of it. But later on, one boy ends up saving her, and that was Meliodas of the demon race. And everyone is really shocked to see that Meliodas is the one that saved Merlin here and there. And we see to it that Arthur was actually shocked about that, and Merlin's like, that's a long time ago, though. Eventually, when Meliodas saved Merlin, her heart filled with a lot of love that she never thought she got from anywhere else. Eventually, after she saw Meliodas saved her, her feeling deepened to a point where it turned into something special. And that's when King and Deanne and Elizabeth were really shocked about this, seeing that she actually had feelings for Meliodas because he saved her. But no matter how much time passed, Meliodas never developed any romantic feelings for her, So Merlin decided to go into her adult form of a woman, an image of an adult woman. And in order to keep her body like that, she stopped time that coursed through her. All over so that she could win Meliodas' heart in a certain way. But there was one person that took away that love from her. And eventually it was actually Goddess Elizabeth that stole Meliodas' heart away. And that is when she had shock, sadness, anger, and jealousy. Young Merlin was assailed by the dizzying maelstrom of feelings. But she could never bring herself to actually hate hate the two of them no matter what. But when she returned to Belenian on her own and attempted to fill the gaping hole that had opened in her heart, by gobbling up scripts, applying herself to magical training, and greedily devouring all knowledge of the world, but her heart still hungered, and she spent her days troubled. And one day she heard something about a certain being called Chaos, the drive of power that was born amidst ancient stars far, far away. Eventually, we get to know that Chaos was the one that created the world. It bore the supreme deity, the demon lord, the sacred tree as its third offspring. Eventually, we get to know that the supreme deity and the demon lord created their own worlds. Like the supreme deity created the celestial realm and the goddess race, and the demon king or the demon lord created the demon world and the demons, and the sacred tree will later on create the fairy realm with its fairy folk. Eventually, Chaos will later on create giants, but unfortunately for Chaos, they were a savage race that their power was nothing more than inflicting pain on the others, so that Chaos was disappointed with them. But eventually, Chaos will later on create humans. This is where kindness and cruelty, bravery and cowardice, love and loathing, beauty and beastliness, everything went into them. Though incomplete, they were the perfect race that came closest to Chaos. In light of such a perfect work, the two gods, that's the supreme deity and the demon king, they were filled with jealousy and apprehension. They feared that the love and respect of their own created races devoted to them would be stolen by the creator Chaos, So the supreme deity and the demon lord worked together to steal the chaos away. But unfortunately, when Merlin heard about that 3,000 years, she's been structuring her plan for 3,000 years around resurrecting Chaos. She believed that if she revived Chaos, virtually limitless unknown, then her starving heart would most certainly be fulfilled. And however, in order to revive Chaos, there's a couple things that needed to be done. Defeating the demon lord was one of them. Merlin had to use the 7 deadly sins, but only evening the ledger, they end up using Merlin as well. But Diane does not believe these stories, as Merlin actually used the 7 deadly sins and tells it to shut up. What do you know about us, huh? And we see to it that the Lady of the Lake says, yeah, I don't know, because she fought with you guys, right? It's not that I lived with her or spoken to her. But as for what I do know, I know this. Merlin is the one that asked the giant craftsman Dabuzu to forge the coffin of eternal darkness to seal away the demon lord and supreme deity, which is even more shocking. And not only that, there's a couple more revelations given about what Merlin also did. She delayed the stop timing spell in order to resurrect the demon lord, and that she actually reactivated Elizabeth's curse that Meliodas actually broke. So, even though Meliodas broke the curse on Elizabeth, Merlin somehow managed to reactivate it. Not only that, the final battle against the demon lord, she drove your combo move into the lake. That is all about she knows, as the Lady of the Lake explains. And we see to it that Diane does not believe this, and King's like, Merlin, can you say something? Come on, tell us about it. And Merlin therefore says to everyone, to revive Chaos, it wasn't enough to seal away the supreme deity and demon lord. One or the other had to be completely destroyed in order to disrupt the balance. And Bond's like, so, you knew the captain's body would be taken over and you let him to be revived that way? And Merlin further explains, says, and one more condition. For the key to reawaken Arthur, I needed an explosive magic. But either way, if I hadn't directed the magic into the lake, Britannia would have been destroyed. And Gothar's like, so, then what the Lady of the Lake is saying is actually true? But Meliodas literally asked Merlin one question. Look me in the eye and answer me. Did you really try to kill Elizabeth? Tell me the truth. And we see to it that Merlin therefore gives an answer to Meliodas by telling him, Meliodas, your objective was only one thing. Break the curse on Elizabeth. But if you'd done that, you might have abandoned the mission to defeat the demon lord, and I could not have that. And Diane does not want to believe this, and she's already crying. And we see too that Meliodas asks Merlin, so that's why you reactivated the curse or what? And Merlin therefore says, but I'm also the one who saved Elizabeth as well. And Meliodas asks Merlin, then when you assembled the 7 deadly sins, was that to carry out your goal? Did you just used us? Is that it? And we see too that King, in great disappointment and anger, says, I thought you were our friend. What the heck? And we see too that Diane's in total pain by saying, I don't understand what's going on here. And we see too that the Lady of the Lake explains, it should be no mystery. Hating someone so much you want to kill them, but still being able to love them, that's what humans do. In the end, I wonder if you and Merlin, being different races, will ever truly be able to understand one another. And the chapter ends off right there. So, yeah, I'm sorry that the recap had to be like very long, but the way how this is going, I guess after realizing that I guess we know a lot about Merlin, and we get to know a lot about Chaos. Chaos was the one that created the demon race and the goddess race. Well, the Chaos created the demon lord and the supreme deity, and eventually, they end up creating the fairy race, the giant race, and later on the humans. But because, the goddess, the demon lord, and the supreme deity being jealous about this, they want to seal Chaos away. But Merlin could not have that, and she ended up using an objective to resurrecting Chaos so no one would get in the way, because after Merlin fell in love with Meliodas, but that love would never be returned, she wanted to have Chaos fill something inside her gaping heart, or some kind of hole inside her heart, the moment it could give her that limitless possibility. But it had to come into many ways to one, like there had to be a couple of requirements. One of them is to kill the demon lord. One of them is to kill the demon lord. And that's when Merlin is the one that reactivated Elizabeth's curse, and she might have been the one that tried to kill Elizabeth whatsoever, And it's very complicated. I know what I told you guys is really complicated, but overall, without a lot of detail and possibly simplifying it, Merlin was born with the magic of infinity, but eventually she did not like the place she was at, because all she did was test subjects and she hated the place, and she will later on be saved by Meliodas, and later fell in love with him. But unfortunately for her, Meliodas' heart will be stolen by Elizabeth, which even upsets her, but she could not bring herself to hate them. Eventually, she will later on research something called Chaos, knowing that it has limitless possibilities. She thinks resurrecting Chaos would fill the gaping hole, or the big hole in her heart, But there were a couple requirements to reviving Chaos that needed to be done. And that is killing the demon lord is one of them. And of course, some explosive magic to put Arthur as the king of chaos, etc. Of course, yeah, pretty much some major crazy events that's been set behind, that's been wanting to revive chaos, has been set by Merlin. And to think that she is the one that reactivated the curse on Elizabeth, man, my dear lord, her knowledge and everything must be very vastly great, But after a lot's been heard from the Lady of the Lake, yeah. Wow, dude, to think Merlin, wow, Merlin, you are one crazy girl. But I think I can understand where she's coming from, but yeah. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will say, like, why is this being dragged out for too long, man? This is really sickening. Can't say that it's being dragged out for too long, but, there's a lot of things that needs to be answered, Guess we'll have to find out. As for the Supreme Deity, It looks like she might be still alive, although we don't really know when she's going to make an appearance. Guess we're about to find out. Who knows? So, until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day. And I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot!